Hello and welcome to Season 9, Episode 38 of the Ubuntu Podcast. In this episode we're going to reveal the winner of our Thing Explainer competition. We'll also have some command line love and go over your feedback. I'm John, sometimes known as John the Nice Guy, and joining this week are Alan.
Hello.
Mark.
Hello.
And Martin.
Hello.
So what have we been up to since last time? Mark?
I've been considering upgrading my Steam box.
When you say you've been considering it, I imagine you sitting on a sofa with a pipe in your mouth, just considering. Not actually doing anything, just considering.
Pretty much it. Steam controller in one hand, pipe in the other.
and a pint of Guinness to one side?
Something like that.
Okay.
The dilemma I'm faced with is that, well, twofold really. First of all, I built my Steam box using a low-profile case, which means it'll currently only fit a low-profile graphics card. And secondly, it's currently using an AMD graphics chip. So I'm not sure whether I should go for a new AMD graphics chip with the new AMD GPU drivers, or I should go with an NVIDIA graphics chip with the tried and tested big proprietary blob in the kernel drivers.
There's a rumour going around that NVIDIA are going to do a low-profile 1050 or 1060.
Is there indeed? Or maybe I just need to wait a little bit longer.
Yeah,
well, the
Google...
1060 is in the thing that the mobile version is in the thing the Zotac thing we mentioned last week.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so I'm sort of umming and ahhing about whether I should just buy a bigger case and transplant all of the innards and get a proper graphics card in there, which wouldn't look as nice under my TV, but you know.
Or you could hide it somewhere else and use.
I could hide it somewhere else, but yeah, it then gets complicated because it's also my media box, not just my. So then I have to get something else to run Kodi on, and oh dear, the trials and tribulations of being a massive geek and building all your own hardware. Sometimes I envy Apple fanboys.
Get out.
Take your coat with you.
Martin, what about you? What have you been up to?
Well, I have been re-implementing our network at home. So I've got a couple of home
That sounds boring.
I was going to say,
That sounds dangerous.
One nerd to another.
Yep. So I've now got faster network around the house, so we can stream stuff over all of the things.
Now, the important question is, do you have an IP schema? Because I am sad to say that I have one for my house network.
Ooh, I'm not the only one.
No, neither am I. Fine,
I can't remember what it is, but I've definitely got one.
Yep.
I have it in a text file in Dropbox, so... Oops.
Yeah.
So when you say an IP schema, I have a text file that says printers go here, routers go here, desktops go here, that kind of stuff. Is that what you mean?
So last week I mentioned the home automation stuff that I do. Part of what that needs is an accurate map of what's on the network. So when I set everything up, I just listed all my MAC addresses off and then set static IPs in my router for them all, so that I just knew what I was looking for when I was standing stuff up.
Good.
Yeah, I've got 4 VLANs in the house.
Oh my god!
I don't go as far as VLANs, but I do have sort of ranges of IP addresses which are for certain sorts of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would love to hear from our listeners as to what lunatic IP setups they have at
And
home.
what's your host naming convention as well?
Oh, computers from science fiction, of course.
Mine's a Homestar Runner
Characters from Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah.
Mine's all utilitarian except for my laptop, which is Minilith, because it's not a monolith. But that's it.
We didn't get to meet you properly last week, John.
And we haven't got time this week, so moving on.
Okay. Awesome.
And now it's time for the competition that everyone's been talking about.
Everyone, you say.
Everyone who listens to this show. It's our Thing Explainer competition, and we are going to announce the runners-up and the winner.
What was the prize? Remind us of the prize.
The prize is a copy of both Thing Explainer and What If by Randall Munroe, the creator of XKCD, and both copies are signed by the author. Ooh.
And remind us what the competition entry requirements were.
So you had to describe your job using only the 1,000 most common words in English using the Upgoer 5 text editor for help.
And boy, oh boy, did we have quite a few entries.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
So what we're going to do now is we've basically... we can't possibly read them all out because we would need a couple of extra shows to do it. So we've picked our favourites, and we're going to read out our favourites, and then we're going to finish up with the winner. So, and then we'll contact the winner and get the details to send the prizes to. So first up, Alan, go for it.
Dave Hingley sent in this. I make and look after controls for things that are used in computer games and fix problems for people who make art and things that move in games. I also help people plan their work so it is better and easier to make, sometimes by making orders the computer will know.
I like orders the computer will know. Very good.
I have no idea what any of that means, but I like it. It's the kind of thing my 8-year-old son would say, so that's what I like.
The next entry we had was from Ivan Pejic. He says, most of the time I sit in a room with other people like me and I answer the phone saying something like, hello, have you tried turning it off and on again? Oh, okay. Well, the key on the side is its light on. Yeah, you need to turn it on. I like to think I help other people, but sometimes I'm not so sure about it. Some things are just hard. I never understood why do people make things to be hard.
Sounds like a tech support job to me.
It does.
Yes.
Or an actor on a popular Channel 4 TV show.
Indeed, yes. So the next entry is from Ty Kedzierski. And this one is particularly interesting because it was written not only using only the most 1,000 common words, but also as a poem.
I think it should be set to music.
Maybe we can do that in
Thrash
post-production.
metal.
No, we can't. I think I'm editing this show, so we certainly can't build music.
Ukulele?
No, that's banned.
I'm sorry.
Okay. My work is hard to tell you of. I make computers do their jobs without me telling them what to do to make life better for me and you. I write important words they need, which then tell them how they can repeat, and do this all again alone so I can enjoy time at home. But sometimes they are known to break in ways I don't know how long will take to fix and make them run again, and lots of time on this I spend. Most people never see what I do because the broken runs are few, but when they break there's lots of hate, and I must stay up very late. I tried to do this as my job for shops that cannot pay me much, but since there are many little shops, I still get enough money and such. I found that learning how to write is easier when the words are free instead of locked away from me, and I think free is only right.
Oh, that's lovely. I love that.
And I'd just like to add that he even finished in verse with the lines, in case it's not sufficiently clear, I'm a freelance DevOps engineer.
Oh, I missed that bit. That was brilliant.
Yeah, really good. Well done.
Oh, dear. What's up, John? What's next?
So next it's John Gardner's set, which says, I write words which computers follow to make things happen without us doing it. These words usually help people buy money or promises of money and goods, and often different money from very far away, or to have other people buy things from them much faster than they could without the computers. Things go wrong when the computer words are in the wrong order, missing words, or there are more words than there should be. Sometimes this makes the people angry or sad, and we have to work harder, changing the words to the right ones before bad things happen. And what was particularly nice about this one was that John also drew a picture using Impress because he says, I'm even less skilled at Inkscape and creative non-photo editing in GIMP. So he's drawn a picture that I don't know if that's going to be in the show notes or what, but yeah.
Maybe, yes. I hadn't considered that. Yes, we could potentially do that. Maybe, yes.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Coming in here telling us what to put in our show notes.
Cheers.
Oh, brilliant. Next up was Jordan Redacted, which is an interesting name. Don't know where that's from. He says, I make dark stuff so hot that it breaks into different parts. Some parts are dark and some parts are clear, and all of them smell funny.
It sounds like how I start my mornings.
Other people put these parts together so that people can use the stuff to make their cars go. I send other stuff to other places to make power. Sometimes I take small parts of the stuff in glass bottles and check them to make sure they're good enough for people's cars. I work together with people to be safe. I also sign paper so that different people can work where I work and fix broken things. I talk to people from not my land that work on water. Together we move the dark and clear stuff to other lands.
Just brilliant.
I love that.
I work together with people to be safe. Is that from Predators? Just
dear
checking.
me. I love all these ones that have faraway lands. I don't know what it is about, whether it's foreign or country or there's words in there that are not possible. And I like the way people replace those.
Next, we have an entry from Sir Marsafe. And we have a very cultured audience because this one was sent as a sonnet. This is the Lazy Teens sonnet. I am a student and hate going to school. All that work and study is just not cool. Playing and dancing is much more fun. It's so much better being out in the sun. I don't need jobs or money to buy anything new. That's for parents. They have nothing else to do. Give me food and drink with that book of faces. While I'm at home, I will still be going places. Life is for living, but all the funny things I see show it's easier when others live it for me. My father, he worries about what I will become. But if only he knew what is still yet to come. When I bring my friends to my house to stay, I show them all how to live life my way.
Lovely.
Very well done.
I like that.
Next up, we have Catherine Hill, who sounds like she does this kind of thing professionally. I talk to students to see if they need help with talking, and if they do need help, I help them with their words and sounds so other people can know what they say. I do this at a school, and I work with teachers who help students who need help learning. I work together so students can say what they mean and know what others are saying. I help with the way students say words, the sounds, putting the words in the right order, knowing what words to use, and making sure their faces and bodies match their words. For some students who can't use words, I make sure they can talk with pictures or other things. I use the book that talks like this to help my students talk better. A fun thing I wanted you to know. And they like it. I like it too, because reading is hard for lots of them, and it makes them feel better about knowing things. I also do lots of work with paper, but I like working with students better.
Nice.
That is really good. I really enjoyed that. So up next is Ian Forbes, and it says, although people look, they are just one thing. They are really made up of lots of little things called cells that you can only see through glass that makes small things look much bigger. When these cells grow, or one cell makes another cell, they can sometimes go a bit wrong, and what was once a good cell becomes a bad cell that grows and grows, and also make lots of other bad cells. When this happens, it can make the person made of these cells very sick, and my job is to look through the glass at cells taken from people to see if their cells are about to go bad. If they are, we send them to a doctor who takes the bad cells away, and if there are no bad cells, then the person can go and be happy, and then come back in 3 years and get checked again.
Great.
There is some amazing vocations in all of these entries.
Yes, we have a very diverse audience.
We really do.
This.
Yeah. I think the ones I liked, we had a lot of people who are programmers and similar, but the ones of these I like the most are the ones who don't work with computers and did really, really interesting explanations. And this brings us on to our winner.
Yes.
And our winner of the Thing Explainer competition and the 2 books is Magnus Lindstrom.
Congratulations,
Congratulations, well done.
Magnus. And we will be getting in touch with you to get your details so we can send you the prizes. And if you haven't heard from us by the time you hear this podcast, then let us know. And Magnus's winning entry is: the police and others send people who have done bad things to me. I give them a room in my house, and they are not allowed to leave until I say so. I tell these people not to do bad things again, and I also help them with how not to do bad things. I write papers when they do bad things while they are living in my house, and give them warning. I have some rooms that have little in them where they can get to stay if they've been doing really bad things to others or to themselves. Some like to live there because they get food, clean clothes, something to do, and help. Some hate it and try to leave, even though they are not allowed. If these people who have done many bad things in my house or tried to leave without checking with me, I could tell them they have to stay for a longer time.
Oh,
so thank you, Magnus. We found that a highly entertaining,
very
description.
Read, yes.
Your house sounds like a very interesting place to be.
It certainly does. So, with that, we would just like to say to all the software engineers, oncologists, systems administrators, electrical engineers, doctors, technical support staff, project managers, games developers, petrochemical engineers, information security analysts, surgeons, user experience researchers, network engineers, prison wardens, sales personnel, digital forensic analysts, medical technicians, speech therapists, digital artists, DJs, teachers, machinists, translators of ancient texts, and would-be astronauts who entered this competition. Thank you for taking the time, friends, and making us all laugh.
Yes.
And now it's time for Command Line Love. And this one is a little utility that I wrote called Mere Capture. And it's a wrapper for Mere Screencast, an FFmpeg that allows you to record your Unity 8 desktop. So you can make videos of your experimentations with the technical preview that shipped in Ubuntu 16.10 and post them on YouTube, for example.
So what's wrong with Mere Screencast?
Well, when I did my first Mere Screencast recording on my XPS 15, which has got a UHD display, Mere Screencast records at the native resolution using raw video at the refresh rate of the screen. So 30 seconds of video took 19.6 gigabytes of space. And I quickly realised this was a problem.
It is quite the fire hose of data, isn't it?
It's just astonishing. So I quickly thought, this is tricky. So what this utility does is it, first of all, works out what your resolution is and what your refresh rate is and tries to make that something more akin to normal video. And for those UHD things, it actually uses Mere to scale those down to like 1080p. So Mere then is outputting 1080p at 30 frames per second. And what it does is it then sends Mere Screencast to a FIFO. And then FFmpeg then reads from that FIFO and encodes that on the fly in real time to using H.264 to an MPEG-4 file. So what you end up with at the end of this is that 30 seconds of video is now like 10 megabytes rather than 19 gigabytes.
Rather than all of your disk.
All of your disk, yeah. So it's dead simple to use. You just clone the Git repository and we'll have a link to the page in the website, and you just run Mere Capture and it should automatically work out sane defaults and just start recording. And so you start that in a terminal. And when you're finished recording, you just go back to that terminal window and press Q to stop, and it will tell you where the file is and how big it is. And then you can, and it should be YouTube ready. So yeah, that's it.
Nice.
Cool.
We love getting your feedback, so please send it to us. Even the pointlessly mean stuff makes us laugh. If it's short, tweet us on @Ubuntu Podcast. If it's less short, but please no essays, email us on show@ubuntupodcast.org. If you'd like to discuss some of the things we talk about with other listeners, post on our shiny new subreddit at reddit.com/r/Ubuntu Podcast. Or you can just leave a comment on the relevant show notes on our website, ubuntupodcast.org.
And now it's time for your extensive feedback. Del Green commented on our website.
Thanks for the DIRM tip. It's made a real difference to our team.
He left a longer comment. Is any of that, you want to read that?
I haven't got that.
Oh, no, it's someone else. Sorry, ignore that. Cut that bit out, yeah. Mike Hingley, I know full well you won't. Mike Hingley commented on our website.
You asked about Raspberry Pi project. We're currently developing a selfitorium photo booth for my brother's wedding next year.
Oh,
it's
cool.
based around a Raspberry Pi and uses Pygame to present a nice interface to the user. It collates a bunch of photos that it takes using PyCam together into a single photo, and we aim to print it out using a photo printer and simultaneously upload them to Twitter. The compositing is all done using Inkscape. Effectively, we inject photos into an Inkscape image. It's going all right at the moment. I'm struggling at the moment with packaging it all up so the dependencies are fulfilled, so I might look at some form of packaging for Raspberry Pi. I also need to tidy up the code a bit, as there's all sorts in there. And the code is on GitHub. We're going to stick a link in the show notes.
That sounds like a cracking good project.
Yeah, I've heard of other people at weddings who've wanted to have one of these like photo booth things, but something that they've created themselves.
Yeah.
This sounds like a good starting point for a number of them.
And this Raspberry Pi segment is the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, it was months ago we did this, and we're still getting several every month, and that's no complaint. It's brilliant. Keep them coming.
Yeah, totally. Albert Hickey emailed show@ubuntupodcast.org.
And he said, I run the Egham and Wimbledon Jam with Kat Lamin, so for me the Raspberry Pi is a great social connector. I've met loads of new people because of the Pi at events and online. Now for projects, there's only one permanently set up, which is a Pi 1B Plus running OSMC as a DLNA media server to our Blu-ray players and tablets, which he also uses as a backup for the kids' Pi Minecraft creations. I also have some things I've made for the jams that are being kept available.
And we'll have some links to those things in the show notes.
Yeah.
So he's got a few that he's listed, including Zero Ball, Button Flash, Cambot. They all sound very interesting, and something out of Red Dwarf. Following up, Jordan emailed us.
I hope I'm not too late to tell you all what my Raspberry Pi is doing. I recently started Bitcoin mining. Okay. And I know I'm late to the game, but it's still profitable for me and fun. Well, that's amazing. I have a Raspberry Pi, Model B, and I'm SSHing into all three of my Bitcoin miners. Oh, okay, these are not on the Raspberry Pi by the looks of it.
Okay, he's right.
Every 5 minutes, I'm running the CG miner command to pull stats, fan speeds, and all of those metrics. This info is then written to 3 individual files, one for each miner, and then parsed into CSV files. These CSV files are then sent to the website hosted on DigitalOcean via rsync and SSH. My web page uses digraphs and writes out graphs that show a brief history of my miner stats. All of the Raspberry Pi stuff is accomplished with roughly 30 lines of bash scripting. I plan on adding more sensor data via GPIO eventually. Wow, that's really terrific.
He also says...
Oh, he loves the distro that cannot be named. He runs the distro that cannot be named every chance he gets, and the distro that cannot be named is his favourite Ubuntu flavour.
Oh, that's very nice of him to say.
Yeah, kind words. Thank you very much, Jordan.
Ian Forbes emailed show@ubuntupodcast.org.
It says, our Viking cousins thoroughly rejected the euro and stuck with the Swedish krona crown. Such wanton geographic ignorance by yourselves is still to be frowned upon despite recent political landscape changes. On a completely unrelated note, the krona has surged in value against sterling for no reason at all.
I think this was my assertion that Sweden uses the euro when in fact it doesn't.
We had a few comments about that.
Yes, something.
I think I was getting them confused with Finland.
something, even the bad stuff.
Alex and Curly commented on our website.
Nice to hear you on the social factors behind distro success. Could be the focus of a blog pass or gasp an essay. Just to point out Raspbian as a case in point, it's not really about the number of people who use the OS, it's about a true community of practice with a sense of belonging and a degree of interdependence. Were the Raspberry Pi Foundation to shut down, something of the Raspberry Pi community would live on and some parts of the main distro would remain important. As for the distro that cannot be named, where there's yerba, there's hope. Thanks for keeping the show insightful.
Albert Hickey emailed the show.
Years ago, I installed Mandrake alongside Windows 95. The moment I tried to install anything, the RPM system failed, so I got rid of it. Tried Mandrake with Fedora and others over the next few years, but never got on with them. Then in 2007, made the decision to have Linux desktop and planned to blog my experience getting it all to work. I bought the bits and built the PC, installed Ubuntu 16.10. So soon after 7.04 was released, I tried again. Yeah, USB ports being seen, graphics supported, Wi-Fi working, all good. Ends up, I got nothing wrong, so the blog never had anything interesting on it. Since then, I've stuck with Ubuntu or Ubuntu flavors since then, and life has been nice and easy.
Oh,
that's nice.
Thomas Mashos, who we mentioned last week in our Mythbuntu section, emailed the show.
He said, I just finished listening to your podcast, which had an interesting timing, as yesterday we discussed doing this, although I hadn't written up the blog post yet. And he then links to the exit notice, Mythbuntu so long and thanks for all the fish. One thing that I don't think was touched on in your discussion is new developers, and that is true for any project.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. We didn't touch on the fact that projects lose developers and don't get new developers along the way. Yeah, absolutely. We're running low on time, so let's skip to Chris Christensen. Tweeted us his command line love suggestion, which is now safely stored in our love vault. Sorry, vault of love, I mean.
Have you not been shown where it is? Have you not seen the signs?
Peter Jones also sent us an email, not that Peter Jones, but another Peter Jones, which we won't read out this time, but Martin says...
It could have been that Peter Jones.
Well, it might have been, but it isn't. It's the other one. Martin says, thank you for the kind words, smiley face, and thanks to all of you tacking your best wishes for Laura on the end of your feedback. Laura, you are missed.
Well, that's all for episode 38, and well, not me, but they'll all be back next week, and there'll be more news, comment, and discussion. So, see you next time.
Awesome.
Thank you
Thanks
so much
for joining
John.
us again.
Yeah, thank you, John.
Great to have you on.
You must be delighted that we've been able to protect your anonymity during these two recordings.
Well, a nice guy has to do something to stay hidden.
Yeah. Thanks again. Take care.
Bye.
I get to say stop.